This monsoon floods are the new normal. Why floods are the new normal this monsoon? How should we be prepared to mitigate the floods and droughts? Why India is failing to minimize monsoon flood destruction? What India should do to address these flooding mishaps effectively? GS Paper 3, Disaster Management. Why floods are the new normal this monsoon? This year, even as 40% of the districts in India face prospects of drought, close to 25% districts have had heavy rainfall of more than 100 millimeters in just a matter of hours. The Indian monsoon is never really normal. It rains too much or too little. It is variable and more than often unpredictable. But now the very definition of what is normal is changing. The fact is that Indian monsoon is becoming more extreme and more variable. In this way, the new normal is flood at the time of drought. How should we be prepared to mitigate the floods and droughts? Mitigating floods and droughts has only one answer: obsessive attention to building millions and millions of connected and living water structures that will capture rain, be a sponge for flood and storehouse for drought. It requires planning systems that can divert and channelize water so that it does not flood land and destroy life. It means linking rivers to ponds, lakes and ditches so that water is free to flow. This will distribute the water across the region and bring other benefits. The opportunity lies in making sure that every drop of the rain is harvested for future economic use. Since rain will come in more ferocious events, we must engineer for its storage and drainage. Channelizing and holding rainwater must become the nation's mission. Why India is failing to minimize monsoon flood destruction? Flooding is associated with rainfall plus factors which include sudden release of large quantities of water from dams/water reservoirs, breach, damage in major reservoirs, dams, limited holding capacity and urbanization. The problem is that these factors are not considered for flood risk mapping, which still remains an unaccomplished task of disaster risk management experts in India. Flood-related destruction can only be minimized if flood forecasting is accurate. But the Controller and Auditor General's recent report said a majority of India's flood forecast systems have either been washed away or their parts have been stolen. Nearly 60% of the 375 telemetry stations set up between 1997 and 2016 are non-operational, which defeats the purpose of investing in the modernization of flood forecast network. What India should do to address these flooding mishaps effectively? Along with flood insurance and possibly the designation of flood diversion areas, India needs better weather and flood forecasting system. The existing flood forecasting network of the CWC is not sufficient to cover the country adequately, and that there is an urgent need for the extension of the organization's flood forecasting network in consultation with states and India Meteorological Department to cover non-metros. The lead time for flood forecasting can be improved through the use of hydraulic and hydrologic models which are linked to the weather forecasting system, the real-time data acquisition system, and the reservoir operation system. It's possible to improve the current forecasting methods by using satellite-based information for better estimates of rainfall and snow melt.